All right. Quickly, we look at triads, and I said a triad consists of three stacked notes in consecutive chords. Like I did explain that. Supposing you use your 5 and the thumb acts as your first finger, your middle finger has at the third finger, and your last finger acts as the last finger, which is the fifth now. You can see that if you bend your second finger and your fourth finger, these three fingers will be in a consecutive third part. So, and that is how a chord, also a triad hearts. Then it is also called a chord. And what is a chord? When you strike these three notes at the same time, it makes a chord or a sound of harmony. And that is why you see that in music, it is very easy to have different parts. For example, if you say soprano, sing so, alto, sing me, and tenor, sing do. If the three parts sound these notes at the same time, it makes what is called a chord, or we can also call it a harmony. At the same time, if you go to the keyboard and you strike these three notes at the same time, it gives a chord in sound. You will not hear difference. It will just give dong. But inside that sound, there is do, there is mi, there is so. It's different from when I say do, mi, so. It's different from when you say do, mi, so. That one after the other, these three notes, do, mi, so, that is an arpeggio. But if I strike the three notes at the same time, dong, that gives a chord. That's the difference between arpeggio and a chord. Is that okay? An arpeggio, it means that the three notes of the triads are detached or are played individually. But a chord, you strike the three of them at the same time. Now, the lowest note of a triad, when it is stacked in thirds apart, is called the roots. So the lowest notes, which is the beginning or the starting note, is called the roots. The middle note is a third note, and the highest note of the triad is a fifth note. You will see that shortly. The tonic note is the first and also is the last note and most important note on a major or a minor scale. When we say tonic, tonic means the first note of a scale. Hello? Hello, can we just stay unmuted so that if I ask a question, I can get a quick response?
Okay.
Good. So I said the tonic note is the first note.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. The tonic note is the first note or the last note of a scale.
Okay.
Yes, if I have a C major, what is the tonic note of C major? What's the tonic note of C major? Naomi,
Sorry, what did you say?
if I have a scale, call it C major, what is the tonic note of that scale?
C.
Why C?
Because C is the start of the C major scale.
Correct. So C is the start or the first note of C major scale, and C is also the last note of C major scale. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. And it simply means the tonic note of a major scale is the what? In solfa notation, what is it? In surfar notation, what is it? Anyone? If C is the first note of C major, that C, what sound will it give you? Or what surfar will it give you? What surfar notation?
Do.
Do, that is it. So you now understand the word tonic. So the tonic note of a major scale is the first note of the major scale and is the last note as well of the major scale. Is that okay? So continue to as a continuation to that, now let's quickly look at the position in triads. Now, the root position is a position or is a position that is formed on first, third, and fifth notes of a scale. When we say a triad is in root position, it means that the triad is formed on consecutive thirds. That is the first note, the third note, and the what? And the fifth note. That is a root position. Now let's take this example. Look at this example. Example, let's say we have a scale on A, either A minor. Let's take it for that, A minor. Now, you can see that the first note is what? A, right? The third note is what? C. The fifth note is what? E. So the root position of this scale will be what? A, E, C. Because A is the first, C is the third, and E is the fifth. So when we say write is a triad of this scale in root position, the tonic triad, it means that you're only writing A, E, C. Sorry, A, C, E, which are the what? The root position, the first, the third, and the fifth note. The first inversion, that's another position, though not for your level, but you need to know. The first inversion means that this root position is now interchanged. It's not interchanged. Look at it. The root position is what? A, E, C. Then when we now interchange it, we take the first note to the end. Then the middle note becomes the first. The last note becomes the second. And the first note becomes the what? The last. So the position, the positioning of those notes will now be what? Third, fifth, and what? Eighth. You know, your eighth note is still the same thing as your what? Your first note. Remember, in a major scale, your first note is the same thing as your last note, which is the eighth note. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so the inversion now, which is the first inversion of triad position, is now what? Third, fifth, and eighth, because your eighth is still a representation of the first. Now let's look at it in this way. The second inversion is what? We are now inverting this first inversion. So your second note now, which was initially your last note, becomes the first. Your second note here in the first inversion, which was initially your first note in the root position, becomes the second, and your first note in the first inversion becomes the last note. So the positioning is now what? It's now fifth, eighth, and third. You can see that eight is replacing what? 1. because it is still the same notes, okay? So you can see that we are just interchanging their positioning, but never mind. This first inversion and second inversion are not meant for you. It's just for you to know that apart from root position, there are first and second inversions in triads. So let's jump into the next one. The next slide now. All right. Now, writing of steps to writing minor triads, because we are looking at triads and minor scales. The first thing is know the relative major of the minor key under consideration. For example, if I ask that what is the relative major of A minor? That's a question. Quickly, I need an answer. What is the
C.
relative C major? Thank you. So that must be settled. Now, you have known the relative major. The next thing you need to know the accidental notes in the relative major. So does C major have accidental notes?
No.
No. So
No.
it's a natural key. So that settles the second condition. Number 3, when you are writing or triad, you need to import the key signature of the relative major into the stave for the triad. So supposing we are writing a triad in D minor, what is the relative major of D minor? An answer quickly.
B flat. Sorry, B. We need to flatten the B.
Is it B flat?
Because it's D, E, F, so we need to flatten the B.
No, I need the name of the key first.
Oh, okay. That is the F. F major.
Thank you. That's the first thing you need to know. You need to know that the key, the relative major is F major. But in F major, we have an accidental key, which is what? B flat. Okay. Now, when you are writing the D minor, it means that you have to bring in the what? B flat, which is a key signature of the major scale, which of F, into your scale of D minor for this triad. Okay. The next one is write the triad in the minor key and not in the major. Don't mix it up. Yes, you know, I told you at the initial or at the beginning of this class that the topic is a combination of many topics: triads, minor scales, harmonic triad. Okay, that's like 3 different components coming together to form a topic. So when you are writing the triad, an harmonic, a minor triad, you have to write the triads in that minor key. But the only thing is to bring what? The accidental or the key signature of the major key into it. And that's what you need to do. You are not to write the triad in major key just because you have derived your relative major from the minor key. No, that would be very wrong to do that. Then you need to know the type of minor scale required for the triad. In this case, you have to use harmonic triad. Yes, you have done minor scales, both natural minor, harmonic triad, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. By now, you should know the difference between natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. The unique thing about harmonic minor is that every 7th note of the minor scale is raised or sharpened. That's just it. Every 7th note in harmonic minor scale is what? Is raised
Okay.
or sharpened. So let's look at this now. Now determine the minor key of this. Oh, pardon me. Oh, no. Sorry. It was a mix-up somewhere. All right, looking at this. Whew. Sorry, this not meant to be the title. I think I didn't edit my slide properly. Now, looking at this, this is A minor triad or chord. But I said something earlier. Look at these first three notes. 1, 2, 3. Is this a triad?
Yeah.
Look at it. You know they are standing alone.
Separate.
Separately. Yeah. Is this a triad?
No.
Is a what?
It's
Or
a
is it a chord?
melodic. It's melodic because it's standing one, but the other one at the end that is on top of each other is triad.
Okay, you tried. Yes, we can say this is arpeggio. Have you heard of the word arpeggio before?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, let me just take this first note to be do. So if this is do, the second one will be what?
Mi.
And the last one will be what?
So.
So if I say do, mi, so, that's an arpeggio.
Okay.
Do we understand? So, but now you see that if I play this now, they will sound independently. Do, mi, so. Is that okay? Do,
Yeah.
mi. Now, but if I come here, sorry, if I come here now, come to this three that are stacked in third, it will only give one sound. Doom. It will only give one sound. Doom. So inside that one sound, there is do, there is me, there is so. Is that okay? So it will not sound separately like this other one. So this is called a chord or a triad. So, but this single notes in this order is an arpeggio. Is that okay?
Arpeggio. Okay.
You can see that these are standing at a third apart. A third apart. A to C is a third because from A1, B2, C3, that's a third apart. Between A and C is a third apart. Now, let's look at between A and E. Is it a fifth? That's how you will know. A to B1 to C2 to D3. Oh, pardon me. A to B1, A1, B2, C3, D4, E5. So between A and E, a fifth apart. Is that okay? And between C and E is also a third apart. That's why you see that there is no gap in between because they are third apart. It's just like, look at it now. It's just like our fingers, okay? This first note is your thumb. The line is your second finger. The second note is your middle finger. The second line is your fourth finger. The third note is your fifth finger. So you can see that there is no gap in between. This is called the roots position of this A minor. Now, this is A minor, and we're writing the tonic. We are writing the tonic of A minor. Why? Because tonic is the first note of a scale. All right? Tonic is the first note of a scale. So it means that we are simply saying that A, C, and E, they are the what? The roots of our tonic minor or tonic triad of A minor. Now you listen to something here. I sharpened G. Why?
Because it's the seventh note. The leading
Because
note.
it's the seventh note.
So it's a harmonic minor.
Thank you, which makes it harmonic minor. But do we have this seventh note in the three notes that make up the tonic triad? No, because we don't have it, we cannot what? Sharpen any notes here because it's just an accidental. But the original key, which is A minor, has a relative of what? Of what? C major. Has a relative major of C. And the C does not have what? Any note sharpened or flattened. That is why we have no what? Key signature for this.
Okay.
So if you look at it, the same thing is repeated on the bass stave. It's just for you to locate your A, B, A, C, and E on the stave. Now, when you are writing, you are not expected to write in these arpeggios. I just indicated it so that you know the difference between arpeggios and what? Chords. So when you are writing a triad, you are just to write these three notes in this stacked third order on each other. So you are not to, first of all, write in this arpeggio form and then write the triads again. No, it's going to be like you are answering two different questions in one. Okay, now let's go to the next one. The next one is E minor. The E minor is also similar, but what is the first thing I need to call to note is what? I told you. What is the key? What is the relative major of E minor?
G major.
G major. So G major is a relative major of E minor. Then in G major, there is an accidental note, which is what?
F, sharpen F.
F is sharpened. F is sharpened. Now, that is why you can see that the second note here is sharpened because that is the note that is sharpened in the relative major. Now, we are still talking of the tonic triad. Tonic triad means that the first notes, okay? We are building our triad based on the first note. And our first note of this minor key is what? E. So then a third after E is what? G. A third after G is what? B. And that is why you can see it here. E, B, sorry, yes, E, G, B. That is what the tonic triad of E minor. But it's not complete. This is only going to be correct if the question says, write a tonic triad of E minor with accidental. With what? Accidental. If it is with accidental, you need to look for where a note falls on where? F. If you have a note on F, then you what? You sharpen. But because there is no note falling on F, we are not going to sharpen it. But in a case where it says with key signature, with key signature, whether a note appears on F or not, you must represent the what? The key signature. Yes, that's what you can see on this small stave below it. Can we see it now? That F is already sharpened while we still build our triads like this. You can see it on both G clef and F clef respectively. So if the question says with accidental, that is when you will not have to indicate the note that is sharpened here. But if you have the note as part of your, as part of the three notes that make up the build up for this triad, then you have to sharpen that note. At the same time, we are writing harmonic minor triad, right? The seventh note needs to be sharpened, but we don't have the seventh note also in our build up. So we do what? We neglect it, except or the one that we have this seventh note in the build up. That is when we have to sharpen the what? The seventh note, as the case may be. I hope that is understood. Then the last one is the D minor. In this case now, what is the relative of D minor? I think we have said that before. That is what F major.
Major.
Is the relative of D minor. So it means that B is flattened in in F major. But we are writing our triads on D major, the tonic, which will be what? The tonic is also what? D.
D.
The third note will be what? F.
F.
The fifth note will be what? A.
A.
So we don't have any notes on what? On B flat. So we cannot flatten any of this, even if it is what? With accidental. So it's going to maintain this format. But if it is with key signature, you can see that B is flattened, though we don't have any note on B, right? And we still build our what? Triads on the root or the tonic position. So these are salient points you need to take when you're writing your triads in minor scales. You need to know, okay, the relative major. You need to know, is it requiring you to write it using accidental form or key signature? Then you need to know what type of minor scale are you writing on? Is it harmonic? Is it melodic? Is it natural? If it is harmonic, then you should take or bear in mind that the seventh note of a harmonic minor is always raised. And when you have any of your notes that is making up the triad falling on this seventh note, it means that you have to what? You have to raise that note. Else, you are going to have what is called a discord at that point. Okay? You're going to have what? A kind of discord. A discord, for example, maybe I need to say do, mi, so. Listen to this now. Do, mi, so. I think that sounds fine, right? If I now play do, mo, so, it sounds somehow, right?
Yep.
Do, mo, so. You see that it sounds a bit, it's like this thing is not, that's like a discord. Though musically it's okay, fine. You can have something like that. But is to an average person, it sounds somehow. So when you refuse to add the necessary accidental at the right place, it can be giving you a form of discord in sound. Is that okay? So
yeah.
These are the few things we want to look at. And I don't know if you have any question relating to this before we wrap it up. Any question?
No.
Okay. So, Naomi,
Yes.
any question?
Yes, I'm good. No, I don't have any questions.
And do you understand everything? So if I ask to write a minor scale, sorry, a tonic triad in minor scale, you should be able to write it, right? Okay. If you are okay, now before, don't write it. I just want you to give me the letters. Write an harmonic minor, an harmonic tonic triad minor of C. What I simply mean that write the tonic triad of C minor in harmonic.
Would it be C, E, and would it be C, E, and G?
Write it down. It says C, E, G. Okay. Using accidental.
So, what did you say?
Using accidental. All right. Anyone giving us a valid answer?
You said a harmonic minor of C, right?
Yes.
So it's supposed to be the relative measure is supposed to be E. So
E.
which yeah?
Okay. Go on.
So which E are we talking about? Is it the E flat or major?
No, I want you to ascertain what is the relative major of D minor. That's the first thing you need to know.
Of E minor
Yeah.
or C minor? You said.
C minor, C minor.
Sorry, I didn't hear you well. What did you say?
Yes. The question is you have to write a tonic triad on C minor. Naomi,
Would it be C, E flat, and G?
is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Sister Joy, what's your answer before I pass the judgment?
Yeah, it's C, E flat, and G.
Correct. Because E flat is a relative, E flat major is a relative major of C minor. Okay. So if it is going to be accidental, it means that by the time you are building your triad, your first note will stand on C, your second note will stand on E, your third note will stand on G. Then you have to flatten what? You have to flatten the,
E.
that's it. But if it's without accidental, what are you supposed to do? A quick answer to that. If it is without accidental, what are you supposed to do?
Is it we take a key signature? You mean?
Key signature, yes.
Yeah, or we'll put uh, the flat sign on the line of E.
How many?
On the line of E, and it's supposed to be three of them. So it's
Three.
supposed to be EA.
B, E, and
A.
A. Correct. So we have to flatten B, flatten E, and flatten A. That shows that the relative major of the minor key is what? Is E flat, and that is it. I think we now understand the logic. Hello?
I think so.
Do we understand it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. So your question on at page 12 of your workbook. Yeah, page 12 of your workbook. Question 2. You need to attempt them and bring them on Friday, August. Oh no, okay. Okay. Or you can send it to me on WhatsApp. Oh no,
Okay. Did you say question 2 or exercise 2
it should be
only? Or just the page 12?
page 12. There is
Okay.
don't worry, I'll communicate with you after now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
in the absence of any other question, we want to wrap it up. Thank you. God bless you. I want to stop the share. Oh,